Welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about skates, more specifically whether you would want to buy a standard inline boot or a customized skate. We're going to look at the differences, and I am going to try and guide you guys so that you know when you're out buying your next skates whether it should be a standard or a custom. Obviously, there is some ups and downs to each of them, and we are about to go through those. If you have any questions that I do not answer in this video, then feel free to leave a comment below, and I will come back to you with that. I feel like now is the perfect time to make this video because I've actually been skating on a standard stock rollerblade skate for the last 4 months. The reason for this is that as I joined the rollerblade team, obviously I wanted to be a rollerblade skates, but of course they couldn't make me a custom right away. But I've received it now from David and Mariani, and I'm looking forward to try this out. Anyways, I've had tons of custom skates from various brands, and I've also been on quite a few standard skates over the years, so I feel like I should be able to make a pretty good comparison and review of the two kinds of models. So just before we dig into details, I want to make sure that we all know what a standard boot is and what a custom skate is. Obviously, the custom is customized. This means that instead of this one, where it's a bit like buying a standard shoe in a shoe store, you pick your size and you hope it fits. The custom skate is really made for your foot. There's different ways of doing so. The most classic is where they make a cast out of plaster and then simply just shape the carbon fiber around this cast and produce a skate. As you can see, these two boots are very close to identical. I mean, there's a few differences in materials, but this is only aesthetically. It's the same carbon shell, it's the same kind of model of shoe, and then there's only like a few different things. You see a different logo in the back, but they are incredibly similar. But there's some differences because this one is a custom skate. So like I said, the custom skate is made for your foot. Is this necessary? To some people it is. Personally, like I just said, I've been skating on the standard skate for the last 4 months. It's been pretty great, but I had a few issues, and the reason for this is that my feet are really messed up. After a lifetime of skating in not always the greatest boots, my feet do not look like standard feet anymore, and this is why I opt for the custom model. Now it sounds like everybody should just get custom, right? Because they'll be made for you. There is, of course, the big downside to a custom skate is the price of it. It's way more expensive. It's often twice the price of a standard boot. This makes perfect sense because somebody will actually have to make a cast and they will have to produce a skate just for you. So it comes at a higher price, which is why if you can avoid it, it would always be smarter to go for a standard skate. Obviously, save the money, and if it fits the same way, why wouldn't you take it? So now I'm just gonna look a little closer at what are the actual benefits that I get from my custom skates here compared to the standard. And if none of these apply to you, it should be a no-brainer. You should just get a standard skate, save the money. And of course, there's also the plus that if you buy a standard skate and it doesn't fit, you can always change it for a different size. Whereas a custom skate that is made for your foot is obviously non-refundable. These rollerblade skates, both of them, as you can see, one of them has a special layer, leather, so it just indicates that it's a custom, but essentially they're similar. Same carbon, it's the same mounting spacing, same system. So it's really just the fit that changes from one to the other. So if we look closer at the two models, it's very obvious to see that in terms of the angle space, it has most definitely been individualized for my feet. There is quite an impressive difference, especially for me as I've had surgery in my right ankle twice. It's a big plus that it's really fitted to me. You can see the rear of my foot really pointy. It's really pointy, unlike the standard model where it's a bit more rounded. Then also, of course, it's closed around my ankles. So it's tighter, but it also gives you more space to where your feet are different to the norm. Another thing we can look at here is that I have over the years developed quite a corn, so my bone of the foot kind of sticks out, especially on my right foot. So if we look a bit at the sides here, it's very difficult to see maybe, but especially if you touch it on the inside, you will notice how the custom boot really has a little more designated space here to allow for that corn and that bone to stick out with no pain, which is for me a big plus here. This is not something I struggle with every day on the standard skate, but I do a lot of long skates, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a little more pleasant to not have that rubbing on the inside. Another thing here is that you can see underneath the boot that the custom skate really follows the shape of my foot. So the bottom of the skate is not entirely flat, it's really fitted to the inside of my foot and how that is shaped. Whereas the other one is just an entirely flat sole that doesn't bend or arch in any way. Same goes for the toes, where of course in a standard shoe, because you want it to fit most people, it's a bit wider and it doesn't really follow every toe. And this is why you would see that my custom skate is actually a bit wider around the center of the foot, but it narrows in the front, so it really follows my toes, so there's no movements in the foot. In terms of weight, the custom skate will always be a little lighter because there's no unnecessary space. So even the same size, the custom will still have a little less material because it really follows your feet. I actually have one size larger than I would need in the standard skate. And the reason for this is simply that my heel is so pointy and the side of my toes here is so large. So just in order to fit in the standard skate, I would need to go for a size 45 instead of my usual 44 European sizes. It also means that in other places, such as the length of the skate, it is a bit too large for me because I need the rest of the skate to be wider and bigger. And this again means that I really have to tighten the laces, and at times I can like move around a bit in the skate, which is not super comfortable. Anyways, this is super individual. It depends how many years you've been on skates and how messed up your feet are. Because if you have a pretty normalized foot, there's no reason to try and go for a custom skate because these are the same boots. They're great. So these are really for the people that have strange feet, whether it's the way we were born or if it comes from a long history on skates. The best way to figure out whether you need a custom skate is simply to try a standard skate first. In fact, in my own skating store, topskate.dk, we've had a lot of customers asking if we do custom skates. And most often, we just tell them that you should try out a standard skate. They do so, and it turns out that it's great for them. So before you go on and purchase custom skates, give standard a go because it is the same boot, and why would you need something that is specially made for you if you can fit into a standard skate right away? I hope this little review or guide to whether you should get custom or standard boots was useful to you guys. And I hope also you want to, subscribe to the channel, check out other videos. It's not all about the equipment. Some of them is about skating and a bunch of other stuff. I mainly just produce videos that I think would be interesting to people and that I think are fun to make. But if you have any suggestions, I'd be happy to hear them. I think that's about it for today. See you next time.
I'd like to introduce you to Sihi. It's a brand new concept that generates an AI-based training plan. All you gotta do is to plug in your goals, plug in your availability, and let them know your level, and then you can actually generate your own training plan. They're launching for 12 different sports, and best part, skating is one of them. You can already download the beta version for free in the description below. I tried it myself, and trust me, you do not want to miss out.